Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today we're going to plant some strawberries in my nearly finished edible front yard. Now, my front yard is not completely edible. There's a lot of ornamentals, and almost all of the ornamentals that I've stuck in my front yard are very ornamental. So we're going to show you how we're going to plant these strawberries and kind of talk a little bit about why I'm using strawberries in my front yard as edibles and ornamentals. Now, the first place I want to start is an area where I already have strawberries that I've featured in other videos that I've done. Now, these strawberries kind of planted themselves. I'm not exactly sure how they got here. My garden bed full of strawberries is right over there, so it is possible that they just escaped from that. These strawberries are a little different than the ones in my garden beds. They're not quite as sweet, and they're a little bit smaller. Maybe it's a seedling that a bird deposited. But anyway, these have been a wonderful ground cover for me. They're going to be developing flowers here shortly. They do fruit. I let the neighborhood kids eat them as much as they want. And in the fall, they turn a beautiful red. And they're here most of the year, so these make an absolutely gorgeous ornamental. Now, these strawberries have been very hardy. I don't know if the seedling was just hardy enough for this area, so it's kind of been self-selected for this area. But this area does not get a ton of water, and I've never fertilized them before. I just recently put mulch over them for the first time. So we're going to see if we can up the production on these, and then we're going to plant some more. I have 50 strawberries that I bought from a friend. She'd ordered too many, so I bought some. I'll put the names on the screen because I've forgotten what they are. One of them's extremely hardy, and one of them is planted for taste, and we're just going to see which ones survive. Now, what I've done to make this planting easier is I've used a shovel and hacked a hole in the ground about the depth that I want to plant the strawberries and thrown some fertilizer in it. So let's go show you the strawberries that I'm going to plant now. So here they are. These are bare root strawberries. They've been soaking overnight. They were in my friend's fridge for a while, and I think they were packed in sand, damp sand. So the roots look gorgeous, and let me show you how we're going to plant them. So first I want to talk about the anatomy of a strawberry. These are the roots, obviously very important. They need to go down in the hole a little bit fanned out. And this up here is the crown. Now, strawberries will not bear fruit, and they won't live very well if this crown right here is planted below the ground. So when we plant them, we're going to try and keep just the roots buried and keep this crown exposed. This area up here is the new growth. And despite it being late April and these still being bare root, they look extremely healthy. So these will do just fine. So let me show you how we're going to plant this. Now I'm going to take my trowel into this loosened soil, mix in the fertilizer, and then plant these strawberries so that the roots are fanned out just a little bit. Here's the crown right here. So we're going to keep that above the soil surface. Make sure they're tucked in really nicely. Push it down a bit so that there's no air pockets. And then we're going to bring the mulch back around it. Now I'm going to bring in a bunch more mulch on Monday and cover everything again. But this strawberry plant should do well. I'm going to make sure it stays watered for the next few months just to make sure that it gets established well. And then I'm going to start backing off the water and see how little water they can get by on and still fruit. Now for the next one. So we're going to use my little tool, dig, pull out the grass clumps. And there we have it. 2 little strawberry plants planted. And if they end up liking this spot and are happy, they will fill in this area with runners. Now, I put the 2 different varieties next to each other because the bunches came unlabeled and I have no idea which one is which. I will be able to tell once they start bearing fruit. Now I'm just going to get the rest of these planted for you, and then we'll show you why I planted them where I planted and go over my landscape design a little bit. been several days and all the strawberries are planted, and then life got in the way and I wasn't able to finish this video. But let me show you where I planted them and why I planted them where I did. So here's my new front yard that I've been building. I think I've just about have everything planted, and in the front yard I think maybe 50% of everything that is planted here is edible in some way or another. And I decided to plant the strawberries around the edges. So one of the first ones is here, and then we've got them all the way along the edge, down the front, up the pathways over there, and all the way along the outside edge over there. Let me show you how well they're doing. This is a Thursday and I planted them on a Saturday. And here's one right here that I think you can see. Look how many leaves have come up already in just a few days. Here's another one. They're looking really good. I think every single one's going to survive. Personally, I think it's a little late to plant bare root strawberries, but these are doing really well. Wherever my friend got these strawberries, they had good quality plants. I also had enough for one more, this little guy right here, in my strawberry bed, and everything is just popping out here. It's looking so good. I think it's going to be a great year for strawberries. The last place I planted them is all along this pathway here. So we've got probably 7 or 8 strawberries planted along here. Can't see them yet, but you will shortly. Now, one of the next videos I'm going to do is why I plant edibles in my landscape and kind of my theory behind it and how I do it. The way I do my edibles is a little different than permaculture, and it's also a little bit different than foodscaping. So I'm looking forward to that next video, and if you like my videos, I hope you like and subscribe, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.